What's up YouTube? Austin coming at you with Vaporleaf.com. Today we're going to be talking about the Joyetech all-in-one. This is a beautiful little device, nice compact, and as the name mentions, the battery and the tank is built into one. So let me go ahead and take a puff off this and we'll go ahead and jump down in and see what we're getting with this. Alright, here we are down in close with the Ego all-in-one from Joyetech. So let's go ahead and open the box here real quick. So you're going to get your books. I just pulled those off to the side already for you. You're going to get the device itself. We'll talk about that obviously. And then inside this box, you are going to get your micro USB charge cable, 2.6 ohm coils, and a secondary mouthpiece. Now, with all of them, they will have this clear straight bore mouthpiece. And then in the different colors, you'll get a different one. So a lot of them will be colored. The stainless steel one will be clear, but the one that actually comes on it has a spiral in there, and let me see if I can get some focus on this guy. I'll move this stuff out of the way here real quick. So you can see that it has that spiral down in there. I haven't seen much effectiveness with it, for better or for worse, so I just personally use the straight one, but you might end up liking this one. So yeah, you can see the difference between the two there. I'll just slap that right back on here. And that's all that you're going to get in the box there. So we'll just go ahead and go over the device here real quick. I will say that the spiral mouthpiece does fit quite a bit more snug in the device. It does take a little bit more effort to get that drip tip into the device. So you're going to get the 1500 milliamp hour battery and a 2 milliliter tank, which the battery charges through the micro USB, which is why you get the micro USB cable there. You have your fire button right there. A little bit of venting at the bottom in case something does go wrong. Your airflow is going to be at top. And let's see if we can get this in focus. Yeah, so those two little dots, when those line up, that's going to be the widest airflow. And you can move it. This will just circle around for you. And the tightest draw is going to be right around this area right here. Usually what I tell people to do is just kind of drag on it without hitting the fire button and just rotate this ring around until you find the airflow that's good for you. Now this is a little bit more of a mouth-to-lung tank. You can do direct lung inhales, but it definitely is a lot more restrictive. But it's just a really nice small little device, but we'll get to that later. To open the tank, what you'll do is you'll actually press down on this cap. You can see how that has a little bit of a spring load to it. So it's like a medicine bottle. You'll press down on the cap and unscrew it. And then your coils, these guys right here, those just screw right onto the top there, and I'll show you that with my personal device here momentarily. Now, to fill this, since the coil is plunging down into the tank, you don't want to overfill it. So on the two-tone devices, where one color meets the other color in the window, that's going to be your fill line. On the standard colors, so stainless steel and black, I believe those are the only two standard colors, it will actually have a fill line right there. You can see it says max and the line right there, and you can see that that's basically where they both line up. So that is going to be your fill line there, and that's going to be your fill line here. So when you fill it up, you want to make sure to just fill it to that max line, and then you'll drop it in there, and that'll bring it up the rest of the way there. So we'll go ahead and get this screw screwed back down. And when you are tightening it back down, make sure to push down on the cap and twist it to make sure that it gets a nice secure seal. Now I have seen with a few of these where it does short out if it gets too tight. If you ever see that, which it'll, there's a light in here which we'll talk about in a second. If that flashes 3 times, then just back it off just ever so slightly and it should work just fine for you. But honestly, the only times that I've seen that is when the coil wasn't properly screwed into the chimney there. So you can, like I was mentioning, it has an LED color to it, and that you can change. So all that you do to change it is, while it's off, you're going to press and hold the fire button until it flashes at you, and then you'll be able to cycle through the colors just by tapping on it. So we're going to cut away here for a second. I'm going to go ahead and turn the lights off and show you that real quick, and then we'll get back to normal business. Alright, so we now have the light off. The device is already off, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and press and hold the fire button until it flashes on, and then I'm just going to be able to cycle through the colors. So we have blue, green, a lighter blue, red, purple, like a lime green, and then off. So you can just... And it does seem like if you go really quickly with it, it'll just turn the device on. So make sure to turn it off, hold it when it flashes on, and then just go nice and slow through the colors. It doesn't, from what I've seen, it doesn't time out. So just go nice and slow, and you'll be able to work through those colors. Once you find a color that you like, which we'll just go ahead and put it on the purple, why not? Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It'll flash at you, and now it's on. So let me pause again, and we'll go ahead and turn the lights back on, and we'll continue. Alright, got the lights back on. So from here on out, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my personal device. This is actually the one that I own, and we'll go ahead and continue the explanation from there. So let me just start off by showing you the coil here, how it's attached. I'll just kind of shake that off a little bit so we can get as much of the juice off of the coil as possible. So you can see that the coil just attaches right to the chimney there. I'm gonna get my fingers all juicy, and to get the coil off, you are gonna want to use that spring load again. Twisting the drip tip's not gonna do anything. Twisting the airflow is not gonna really do anything. So you do kind of have to hold the coil, push down on it, and then unscrew it. And there's your coil right there. Now for priming it, what they recommend doing is just 5 drops down the center tube. What I've found to be the easiest is I'll just take the nipple of my bottle and stick it right in that center hole right there, and I'll just gently squeeze it until I see juice starting to come up around these sides right here. And once that happens, I just let go of it, it sucks out the excess, and then I let it sit for about 20 seconds. After that, I'll stick it upside down in a Kleenex, and I'll kind of cover it with the, just kind of pinch the Kleenex around it, and just shake it around a little bit, and that'll get the rest of the excess out of there. And then I just screw it back on there. Now, a few people have been having issues with like cross-threading the coil on there. So what I recommend doing is take the coil and just back it up until you feel a little bit of a click, and then you'll be able to screw it in. So we'll just back it up. Felt the click right there. And then we'll just be able to screw it in, and it'll make a nice tight seal there. So if it's looking like that line right there is kind of off kilter or something, it is cross-threaded. And how this coil is going to feed juice is through these 2 tiny little slots there. And because of that, you do want to, or we recommend using 50-50 juices. We have had some people use 70-30 juices without much of an issue, but I would recommend 50-50s. I've had the best experience with 50-50 juices, and since this is more of a mouth-to-lung tank anyways, you'll get a better performance out of that. And then you just plunge it right down in there, find the thread, and screw it down, and once again press down and tighten it down Give me just a second to wipe all the juice off. Usually I would handle the coil with a Kleenex while I'm doing all of that. But since we're filming, I didn't have one handy there. So the LED does serve another purpose as well. And I'll try and catch this without turning the lights off again. But what I do is when you hit the fire button, you can see that it pops on. And then when you let go of it, the light pops back on. Now right now I just charged this morning, so it should be mostly charged, and you can see that it just flashed once there. Now once it starts depleting charge more and more, you'll hit the fire button, it'll pop on, then it'll turn off, and then this is going to flash 4 times really slowly. And the quicker those flashes get, means the closer it is to actually dead. And once it is dead, it'll flash 15 times red at you. And then when you go to plug the device in, when you plug it in, it'll flash green, red, green, red, green, red, and then it'll stay red. Once it's fully charged, the light will go out. So that's basically it, guys. That is the Joyetech all-in-one. Let's go ahead and come back up, and we'll go ahead and finish this video up. Alright, back up, guys. So that was the Joyetech all-in-one. So a couple things to mention. We do sell these, and I would recommend getting one, especially if this is going to be a device like what I use it for. A silicone case. And what I mean by a device that I use it for is this is going to be a device that I'm bringing to concerts and bars and going out and just stuff like that. Because it's a pretty remarkably inexpensive device, especially compared to the devices I normally use. And then also, so I mean, it's you're gonna like if you're if you're inebriated, if you're partying, if you're just at a really heavy concert, or if you're mountain biking or something like that, a little bit of a silicone case definitely does help. So we do sell these. They really do help. And it just makes it feel really nice as well. Now, one thing that I have noticed is when I stick this in my pocket, I have had it auto fire on me a little bit, because this button does protrude. So let me get the silicone case off of here. So since that button does protrude, I do recommend turning it off, which it's 5 clicks on, 5 clicks off, and you will see the light flash at you on and flash at you off. So if you don't see it do the quick flashing at you, that means that it didn't really register it. So just make sure to turn it off before you put it in your pocket or your purse or wherever else you're going to have it there. So like I was saying, this is more of a mouth-to-lung draw. Yeah, you can do a direct lung with this, with the 2 dots lined up, which is the highest airflow. Like I was saying, you can do a little bit of a lung draw, but it's not going to be that really deep lung inhale. It's more of like a half to a quarter draw into your lungs. So that's why I like to restrict the airflow down a little bit and have a little bit more of that mouth to lung draw, where you're I like to do the circular breathing, even if you were to just do a normal mouth to lung draw of, it's going to work just fine. It's just a great little device. Almost everybody at the shop owns one of these, if that tells you anything. We all love it. It's just a nice, small, little portable device. Another thing to mention, though, I did raise my nicotine up. Normally, I'm in between like a 3 and a 6, usually 3 if I'm on my heavy sub-ohm. If I'm on a sub-ohm tank, I'm usually doing a 6. With this little guy, I'm doing a 12. And it's actually made me do a little bit more of that cigarette experience, where I take 10 to 20 drags off of it, and then I set it down, and it stays there for a half hour to an hour before I need it again. So that 1500 milliamp hour battery with the higher nicotine has been lasting me a day, day and a half, which is pretty remarkable. I am filling the tank more than that. I do fill the tank 2 to 3 times a day, but the battery life itself I've been remarkably impressed with. So if you know somebody who's looking to get into vaping, these are great starter devices. If you're looking for a device just to hit the town with and not worry about it breaking, because I mean, I'm sure it can break. I mean, this is a glass tank. Anything, if you try to break it, you can. I'm sure of that. We haven't seen them break yet, though. But even then, with how cheap these devices are, which you can, there will be a link in the description. You can click on that, and it'll bring you to that, and you can see the price point for it. You're not going to lose much sleep over breaking one of these devices. But, you know, like getting back to, do you have a friend who's smoking and they're kind of thinking about getting into vaping, or you want to get them into vaping? This is a very approachable price point. It's something that's easy on the pocketbook. It performs really well, and it just gives a great experience. I've used this all day. Normally I'm vaping a 0.3 at 165 watts, and I'm using this guy all day. So it's just impressed the hell out of me. So, well, that's it, guys. If you liked the video, make sure to hit that like button. And as always, for all the latest and greatest videos, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You guys have a great day. Bye now.